There was a time when the Sahel was supposed to become Africa's next great power belt, a region that is rich in gold, uranium, oil, lithium, trade routes, and some of the youngest population on earth. To many Africans, the Sahel represented resilience, but today the Sahel has become one of the most unstable regions on earth.
There are so many AK-47s around me. There's 6 guys on that side of the beach. There's like a pocket of 6 guys right there on the ground. I feel like I'm just going to be stuck in crossfire right now.
The Sahel is not poor because it lacks resources. It is one of the most resource-rich regions in Africa. Since 1970, Niger has supplied uranium to France. The uranium that has helped to power French nuclear plants for decades. Yet, despite the enormous wealth, millions are still poor. Electricity access has stayed low, and there are less educated people in that region. How can a country so rich in resources remain poor? Mali is one of Africa's largest gold producers. Gold export generates billions. Selling of gold also generates billions. But then, Mali has struggled with poverty, insecurity, corruption, and the continuous suffering. And then Burkina Faso rapidly expanded its gold sector during the 2000s. But as mining increased, so did violence increase. By 2023, Burkina Faso had become one of the deadliest conflict zones in the world. According to the Acolyte News, Burkina Faso faced a severe escalation of deadly violence in 2023, with more than 8,000 people reportedly killed. Now, when that happened, many experts began to join dots together. Why were the deaths more in Burkina Faso? Now, this was linked to a date, October 20th, 2011. That day, the Libyan leader, Muammar Gaddafi, was killed. Now, when Libya collapsed, NATO-backed intervention began to have issues. Massive weapons were spread across the Sahel region. Trained fighters returned home. Borders weakened and smuggling exploded. The fall of Libya created a security vacuum across North and West Africa, and the Sahel region absorbed the shock. In January 2012, Traore rebels launched an uprising in northern Mali. The jihadist group entered conflicts in northern Mali. By March 22, 2012, Mali's government was overthrown in a military coup, and by April 2012, the jihadist group captured major northern cities, including Gao and Timbuktu. The world was turned as Mali had become one of the most praised on West Africa, the one with the most stable democracy. According to African newspaper, on January 11, 2013, President Francois Hollande gave the executive order for France military to start Operation Sevre. The aim of that operation was to halt the coalition of Traore rebels and Islamic fighters who had claimed half of Mali's territory. But despite the years of foreign military presence, the fight never ended. The fight was still ongoing. Terrorism spread, violence worsened, and people started asking dangerous questions. If the foreign armies have been here for years, why does the war keep getting worse? The attack became more brutal in August 24, 2024. In Burkina Faso, nearly 600 people were killed within a few hours by terrorists that was linked to Al-Qaeda. Everybody was wondering, what's causing this war in the Sahel region? Sahel region are rich and they can be independent on their own. What's the real cause of this war? Most people argue that it was poverty, because an idle man is a devil's workshop. Others said that because of weak governance, the government could not provide security, healthcare, good roads, and good schools. And then that began to weaken the trust of the public. Climate changed as the desert was expanding, while others pointed at the Libya effect. That's because the president or the leader of Libya had died in 2011, and as such, this made the rebels to come into Mali and cause war. In September 2023, something very great happened. 3 countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, came together and called themselves the Sahel States. They formed an alliance that was meant to make them strong and undefeated. Now, these 3 military governments reduced ties with France, they increased cooperation with Russia, and they promised a new independent future. Supporters called it anti-colonial resistance, while critics called it dictatorship. And they said that Africa does not need a dictator, rather they need a leader. Now, I begin to wonder, what's the difference between a dictator and a leader? Because as we all know, most of the decisions that are being taken in the boardroom don't come to us, the citizens, and ask us, oh, we want to do this. At this point, being a dictator is only going to make the country better, because at the time when Burkina Faso was practicing democracy, things were not as good as it is now in Burkina Faso. The man Ibrahim Traore has done great things for his country.
The Alliance of Sahel States, AES, comprising Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, has officially established its joint security force. On Saturday, December 20th, 2025, Mali's transitional president, General Assimi Goïta, handed over the joint forces' flag, weaponry, and other equipment, including combat vehicles and ambulances, in Mali's capital.
Then, a great number of Africans claimed that the foreign influence was the reason why the war had broken out in northern Mali. The Sahel had become a battlefield for global influence. Countries like France, Russia, the US, and private military groups. Supporters say that they helped to curb the killings, while critics say the foreign influence engineered this war.
The real reason Donald Trump wants to invade northern Nigeria, Art, has nothing to do with black Christians. Nothing to do with my Christian brothers and sisters in the north. Northern Nigeria sits under what country, Art? Northern Nigeria sits right under Niger, one of the 3 countries in the Sahel Alliance. Nigeria borders Niger. And why is Niger so important, Art? Who is the #1 supplier of uranium in the world? Niger. Do you know what you need uranium for, Art? Nuclear missiles, nuclear bombs, nuclear technology, nuclear warheads. Niger is the #1 supplier of uranium. And in the nuclear age, Art, uranium is the vibranium of Black Panther.
There is no mere evidence to these claims. They are just mere assumptions.
Si le Mali tombe, écoutez, c'est tout le Sahel qui va suivre, ça va avoir des répercussions incalculables.
Over the past weekend, jihadi and separatist groups for the first time launched coordinated attacks in Mali.
This is the first time we're seeing attacks at scale where they are acknowledging a cooperation and an intent in terms of unity.
So far, Mali's military junta has survived. But what if it falls?
There are threats to regional stability in the event that militants do have their way, which they're pushing for a change of government. The stakes are extremely high, and they've never been higher than this.
These militants are not joking. If these militants take down Mali, they can easily take down Burkina Faso and Niger. This is not just a Sahel region problem. This is about to become an African problem. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do well to like, do well to share, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Solid Finance Podcast, for more finance content like this. Until next time, bye for now.